Welcome to this week's podcast and videocast with Eagle Athletic Director Bill Chaves. It's brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union, serving their members' financial needs since 1951. Big football win, and behind us we see a lot of bleachers that are being brought in to try to accommodate what's going to be a big crowd for Senior Day on Saturday.
Yeah, Larry, obviously, Montana game is always a special one when we get them once every 2 years here in Cheney. And you're right, we try to accommodate as many people as possible, and again, we've probably used this term previously, as infrastructurally possible. Again, we're just sometimes have to be careful on from a safety standpoint and from a game management standpoint that we don't quote unquote say overdo it, right? So so at the end of the day, you're right. We're going to be moving in more seating and see where that goes.
And you probably want to try to go to the bathroom and do things like that prior to coming into the building, because that's part of the infrastructure that you're talking about. I mean, it's just not built for 11 or 12,000 people that way.
Yeah, it's not. And we try to do, from a portable standpoint, the things that you need to do. And certainly dining services understands that as well. But at the end of the day, we're trying to accommodate as many folks as possible with being smart at the same time.
And then the football team did what they needed to do on Saturday and set up a very big game. And really, when you look at the standings, I mean, it's crazy at the top. 6 teams with 1 loss at this point in time, but it will be down to 4 after this weekend, 4 at the most after this weekend.
Right. NAU going to Idaho State this week. Obviously,
Cal Poly going to Idaho State.
Excuse me, Cal Poly going to Idaho State. Yeah, it is crazy right now. 6 teams with 1 loss, and but in the next 3 weeks it'll shake itself out a little bit. And huge game. It's obviously anytime we play Montana, it's a big game, and both teams held up their end of the bargain this past weekend. And I thought our team responded very, very well off the loss at NAU, and really did a good job. And it really by halftime had really kind of established itself as a W that day. And so it should be a great game. The Grizz always will come in and do what they do well, which is grind you and play great defense, and it'll be one heck of a battle.
You have any idea on the split of the crowd? Is it going to be 75-25, 67-33, 50-50, 80-20? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think I know in my time here, and we started playing Grizz here in 08, I think the percentages have certainly steadily gone into our favor, and I think that's the case at this point in time. We've given them, they were able to give us X amount of tickets last year. We reciprocated this year, and then I would say the majority of our tickets, based on ticket sales, because of our season ticket base, is the majority is Eastern folks. So I know that was kind of a big deal over the course of time, but I think that has gotten less and less. And I know when I certainly got here, I that was something that we wanted to make sure that we kind of flipped the switch on.
All right, let's talk other sports now, because we're wrapping things up on some of the other fall seasons. Let's start with cross country. The women finished 4th, the men finished 6th. Sarah Ryder, the individual champion for the women, and the first individual champion Eastern's had in cross country.
Yeah, fantastic. What a great race she ran, and she's had just a great fall. She transferred from Montana State. She's a sophomore from Renton, and she was our Scholar Athlete of the Month for October. And so we were just excited for Sarah to be able to do something that no one's ever done in the history of a program. That's pretty neat stuff.
Volleyball lost a couple over the weekend, put themselves in a tough spot here over the last 2 weeks.
Really tough. Certainly, lost at Montana after winning the first set on Thursday night, and then lost a tough 5-setter in Bozeman. And you're right. Go back onto the road this week, and those will be two tough matches, and then come back for Northern Colorado and North Dakota, and both those teams are playing very well too. So we've got our work cut out for us, no question.
And then let's talk soccer, because Coach Bodner's here. He's going to be recording a podcast and a video cast with us here in just a little bit. And the Eagles are in the 6-team tournament. We knew that last week that they'd be in, but we know where they're seated and who they're playing. And it's a great thing for Eagle soccer to be in the tournament again.
Yeah, obviously it's been quite a bit, 5-year hiatus. So to have these upperclassmen get back to the tournament is huge. And then moving forward, forward for the program. Just again, that being the expectation, if you will, everyone kind of tastes the tournament, and the way the tournament's set up, kind of interesting. There's no reseeding, so. Good, bad, or indifferent, your quarterfinal, quote unquote, in your because there's only 6 teams in the tournament, not a true 8-team field. In your semifinal would be against teams on a neutral site, so that you kind of avoid the host team, if you will, if we were ever so fortunate to win a few matches until Sunday, if they made it to the final. So all that to be said, at the end of the day, honestly, you just look toward Thursday and try to go play NAU as tough as possible. 10 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock Mountain, and so should be a lot of fun, and I'm happy for the program.
Let's talk basketball now. The Eagle women had their home exhibition game last week, and they're looking good. And the men are going to be in action with the first college basketball game for Division I schools in the nation on November 14th, and season tickets for both are still available.
Yeah, and then the men do play on Sunday at 2 o'clock, so in an exhibition game. So that should be fun to see the men play. And you're right, the ladies played on Thursday night against Central Methodist, and played a very good second half, shot very, very well. And I think that's why you play exhibition games, kind of that jittery first 5 minutes, and then really kind of controlled it from maybe the 12-minute mark to half, and then into the second half. So I think both teams, are going to shoot it very, very well. I think both of them will score it very, very well. I think both sides, depending on how well we play defensively and rebounding the ball, will probably, be the big determining factor for our teams.
Well, and as I talked at the halftime show with Coach Schuler on Saturday, I said you weren't playing the bald, paunchy, overweight broadcasters. You were playing a nationally ranked NAIA team, and so it's not as though they were, taking on a bunch of rejects.
No. In fact, as we've seen over the course of time, those can be the most dangerous games, quite frankly, because a lot of times, for whatever reason, sometimes a student is at that school. Again, fill in the blank, right, as the reasons why, and it can be extremely dangerous. But I thought we did a good job. I thought we got after them pretty good, and that should bode well moving forward.
Anything new you can share with us on the men's game on the 14th? Have you firmed up any of the potentially, salty and sweet and savory whatever plans?
I think there's some sweet bacon type things happening for the student body that I believe is occurring, and I know our external team's working on it as we speak, and we should be getting some things out here in the next week or so as far as how that plays itself out. But I think honestly, Larry, just getting the word out that we were doing it was incredibly important. That was the reason why we wanted to do it as quick as we could. I've heard from a number of folks. In fact, I was at my son's soccer game yesterday, and a couple of folks came up to me and said, 8 a.m., not bad, I'll be there. So, at the end of the day, I think it's unique enough that people might consider, hey, you know what, it's a Friday. This is a great excuse to maybe have a 3-day weekend and start it off with a college basketball game.
Yeah, if nothing else, play hooky for the morning and have some sales calls or whatever, and you just come to Reese Court for a couple of hours.
I have a business meeting at Reese Court.
Sure.
That could work too.
Bill, anything else you want to say?
No, again, always great when it's Montana week, and should be a lot of fun, should be a great crowd. And as far as I see right now, the weather looks okay at this point in time, but then again, as Bill Belichick said, it's always questionable whether we get to game day, whether or not that's the true forecast, so we'll see how that works.
That's our podcast and video cast with Director of Athletics Bill Chaves here on GoWeeks.com, brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union.